First leg quarterfinal action in the UEFA Champions League got underway on Tuesday with 2 matches. You're watching the SportsMax Zone. Good afternoon and thank you for tuning in with us. Now at the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City welcomed Atletico Madrid. We have those highlights.
And now, the side in blue will get this Champions League quarterfinal started. Bernardo Silva has the first kick of the ball. Stones. Morez. Playing it into De Bruyne. Can't reach that one.
Just a fraction too much on it, but that's what...
Bernardo Silva. Getting cleared by Reinildo. There's De Bruyne. For those. Maybe that's going to be the trend. Sterling, pass 1, pass 2. Checks back. Nothing for him. Nothing for Bernardo Silva either, other than a corner.
There's the arm across him from Salco. He stays on his feet there. Then he went down. I don't think Koke did too much wrong. This is in the box. Koke again tries to wrap it. He probably just about got the ball. It's a dangerous challenge to make.
De Bruyne. Gundogan took that nicely. Sterling can't connect at the end. 2 separate barriers in front of Oblak. There's De Bruyne, and Oblak, oh, good adjustment. He'd spilled it, but he swung his leg at the right time. Ake's trained on the ball. It's Laporte! Couldn't get over it. Foden. De Bruyne in! De Bruyne scores! That's what the game needed. 1 Phil Foden pass later. Manchester City have the lead.
And Kevin De Bruyne just passes it beyond the goalkeeper Oblak. What a good goal from City's point of view. Just starting to open up for them.
Bernardo Silva. Foden. Away from Kondogbia. Super footwork from Foden. Here's Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne. Savage with the block. Foden. Half cross. Half effort into the far corner. I don't think you can give Jack Grealish style tips. He's very much his own man. Manchester City have the advantage to take to the second leg.
So at halftime in this 2-legged tie, it is Man City with the advantage. 1-0. Remember, no away goals rule will apply, so there is no benefit from Atletico only conceding 1 on the road. Neither is there any benefit to Man City from being 1 ahead going to Spain for the second leg. Can we crack on before we come to the discussion with Brent Sancho? Yes, let's do that, because in the day's other game, Benfica, they hosted Liverpool at the Stadio de Luz in Lisbon. We have highlights.
And we'll be off and underway.
Yeah, he must be quite frustrating to play with, because you know the ability that he's got.
Puts in Salah. That was brilliant, and very nearly Liverpool ahead. An outstretched foot of Odysseus Fleconomus. The Greek goalkeeper thwarted him. That was a lovely move. Alexander-Arnold, long for Salah to scurry after him and keep in possession. And has a look. And finds Keita. Pushed away from the goalkeeper. Alexander-Arnold went near post. As it comes, looking for a brilliant header, and Liverpool are ahead. Ibrahima Konate.
Strong header from Konate. Good start from Liverpool.
Goodness me, who was supposed to pick him up? No one did. Mane. Diaz makes the run inside to open that gap up for Robertson. Gets a second chance. Sets the cross up just too high for Salah.
Diaz, who wanted the foul, don't think it was.
Diaz goes near post. Always a chance at the far, and it was a big chance for Benfica. All the way through for Otton. There's Alexander-Arnold. Chance, 2-0. Mane looks to the flag. Diaz with the set-up header. Flag stays down.
This is a lovely ball from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Again, that's exactly what he can do. Very unselfish play there from Diaz.
It was a lovely piece of control, and he's brought in Robertson. He's having a really good game, Thiago. Diaz. Wrong side of the post. Alexander-Arnold with a lovely turn and a brilliant ball forward here. Salah, is this a third for Liverpool? Mo Salah, strong save. Not his night so far, Mo Salah. That would have wrapped it up there and then. And on the counter here, Benfica, too much pace for Van Dijk. Just got back there in the end, though. Crossfield swept pass to Robertson. Hung in the air a long time, but that's been the way Liverpool have played the last few years with the full-back pairing. Switching play from side to side. Here's Rafa Silva now for Benfica. All slipped by Canate, and it's invited Benfica back into the game.
This is brilliant on the right-hand side. Gets his head up, whips it in. Canate's got to do better there.
Everton. Right full-back going forward. And again, they found Darwin Núñez in that penalty area. Here come Benfica down the left-hand side. And it's a chance for Everton just outside the box. And it's saved, parried and cleared away. But what's the better option to slip it to his right-hand side? Jota with the corner kick. And away. And the game could well have gone away from Benfica with that third goal. Scored for Liverpool by Luis Diaz after they dominated the first half.
Yeah, so that's how Liverpool finished the job, 3-1 over Benfica in Lisbon. Let's hear first, though, from the Man City coach, Pep Guardiola.
Incredible top side, difficult to face, and yeah, a good result. We had chances to score, especially the second and the third, but we know, so a tough opponent, and we'll decide in Madrid.
The three substitutions had an instant impact, and a lovely pass from Foden to Kevin De Bruyne. It was a reward for risk.
No, the guys were playing well, but of course we knew it with Gabriel and Phil having a special energy, and Jack for the quality to keep the ball. And yeah, the way the manager was so clever.
Were you confident that you could break through that wall? Because they're very well drilled.
Listen, when all the managers, when we make a substitution, it's because we believe it's going to a little bit better. Sometimes it doesn't work, and it works. It's good, and when we don't do it, it doesn't work, and after that, so it's a mistake.
It was a very mature performance as well, because there was semantics, particularly with Jack Grealish towards the end, and just throughout the game to keep the concentration. Be careful of that breakaway.
Yeah, we have to be focused what we have to do. It's not easy to face, again, a team like have a lot of experience in this kind of tournaments and this kind of competitions, but yeah, we're going to go there to score a goal, to try to win the game again. And we'll see what happens. Now we have 5 days to prepare Liverpool, and after just 3 days for Madrid, and we'll see.
And it was much more open a game than we actually wanted, but it's normal, and then you have to be stable and don't let them have too much situations. They had obviously more, but not clear-cut too many, and in the end we could score the third. In general, we could have scored much more goals. I think the goalie, and Benfica made a really good game, but the goalie was anyway the best player. Had a few really good saves, and if we score in these moments, if we scored a 3-0 before half-time, everything is different. Could have scored in the last minute. So I think the result is right, but we knew it will be tough. It was tough. Now we know much more about the opponent. It's half-time, not more, not less. Yeah, we will be ready. We know more. We will learn from the game, and we'll try to get through in the home game.
I have to ask you about this match from Luis Diaz. He was on the starting lineup, 1 assist, 1 goal. I spoke with him. He's in Liverpool a couple of months. He looks like he's a lifetime.
So, top player, top class player, in a atmosphere, obviously. So Luis played a derby. I don't think he saw it like this, but the supporters saw it like that. Still a former Porto player, but did really well. You're right. How he sets up our second goal from Sadio was world class, and the third goal obviously helped a lot. Was always a threat. Yeah, he's a pure joy to work with, to be honest. We're really happy that we could sign him.
Jurgen Klopp, or George Klopp, and before him, Pep Guardiola. Brent Sancho has finally arrived at the International Space Station, from where he joins us now to review the 2 games played today. Good afternoon, Brent.
Good afternoon, George, and good afternoon to your viewers.
Yeah, how does zero gravity feel?
It feels great, actually. I haven't felt it in a while, so I'm back in pole position, as they say.
Excellent, sir. All right, let's start with City and Atletico at the Etihad. A tight affair, as we all predicted. Atletico at every opportunity putting 11 men behind the ball and making it really difficult for City to break them down. But the great picker of locks, we might call him, Kevin De Bruyne, found a way through, enabled by a slide rule pass from the midfield. City 1-0, deserving of the advantage going to Spain?
Yeah, certainly deserving of the lead, certainly deserving of the victory. Obviously, they commanded more of the possession, they commanded more of the play, and they, of course, were the protagonists throughout the game. I think it's a game that we all expected. Atletico Madrid are excellent at what they do, and then that's exactly what they did, which was, of course, defending a low block and make it very, very difficult to City to get through. One thing must be said is that despite all of that, City did for most of the game struggle to create any real opportunities. And I think if you're looking at it, and as you rightfully said, it's the end of half one. If you look at it as a game and its entirety, the two legs, if I'm Pep Guardiola, I'd be a little bit concerned as to the amount of clear-cut opportunities that City didn't create throughout this fixture, despite the fact that they would have possessed the ball for longer periods over Atletico Madrid.
From the Atletico perspective, though, and if we go back to the replay of the De Bruyne goal, Brent, there were so many defenders in and around Phil Foden when he released De Bruyne into the 18-yard box. If you were, would you think that? Well, if we can hold it right here, if we stop it right there, count the defenders now around Foden. There are 3 men close enough to him, well, 2 very close to him. Then there are another 3 in the vicinity, 2 with De Bruyne as the sandwich, Brent, and then there are 2 more at the top of the D trying to track the run of the man trying to break into the box from City at the top of the D. So there are enough defenders around. If you were Simeone, would you be disappointed that the ball beat the defensive setup in this position with so many of your defenders in the picture?
I'd be disappointed, but you have to give credit where credit is due. I thought Phil Foden was extremely clever in what he did. You know, I think out of all the options that he would have had, that would have probably been the most difficult, to slide the ball through the player leg. And he did that almost at a needle-eye type of perspective. So you have to give Phil Foden a lot of credit. As much as I thought that the defenders did what they may have felt is given everything that they can do to stop it, it was just a moment of brilliance by Phil Foden. It was really all about him. And again, the finish, of course, by that man De Bruyne was top class. But the fact that Foden was able to create the space and more importantly, create the opportunity was a world-class effort. So it's not much that you can really fault the defenders for. And you really have to tip your hat to the excellence of Phil Foden.
Brent, you know, at the end of the match, you saw Pep Guardiola extremely elated, and, you know, just looking at his expressions and whatnot, despite it being a very slender lead, you know, it just points to the importance of a win is a win in these matches, and the fact that he would have known that it would have been a very difficult match to win.
Yeah, I think, you know, everyone that was talking about this fixture talked about how tight it would be, talked about how difficult it would be for Manchester City to break down Atletico Madrid. And at the end of the day, as I said, when you look back at all the clear-cut opportunities that wasn't there, it suggests to you, despite the fact that all the possession that City would have had, they just couldn't break down this Atletico Madrid side. And then when you look now at the reverse fixture, of course, back in Madrid, it's going to be even tighter. And you would expect in this fixture that Atletico Madrid may want to play a bit more out of the shell that they normally present. So, yeah, look, I think he would have been happy with getting the 1 goal, because I thought it was going to be a tight affair. I actually thought he would not have gotten a result here tonight. But credit to the City team. And as I said, the depth and the creativity and the talent that he has within his squad certainly showed up tonight.
Yeah, you spoke about, Atletico Madrid when they go back to the drawing board and whatnot. What about Manchester City? The fact that, the second leg will be extremely difficult for them, and they would know that because they're going to play Atletico Madrid at home. Do you see Pep? And it points to the question that the reporter asked him, overthinking, tinkering. Do you see him doing anything different for the second leg?
And maybe it's because of the position I do now sit here as an analyst, that you would want to start to question the fact that there's no out-and-out striker, because what that game for me lacked was just that. They needed a focal point, and I felt that City didn't have that focal point, didn't have that Haaland, didn't have that Kane, and he could go on and on with the top number 9s in world football that I think at some point needs to be addressed. And I think that was the difference, because as much as they possessed the ball well, as much as they tried to create chances and opportunities, they couldn't do it simply because of the fact that something was missing. And if you were to ask me, I think going into the second fixture, what was missing was a focal point and maybe an out-and-out striker.
Yeah, that's why he pursued Kane for so long. As we learned a few months ago, he put in 3 bids that Daniel Levy knocked back at Spurs. That was how desperate he was to bring Harry Kane to the Etihad. Let's talk about the second game now, because the scoreline reached 3-1. So 2-goal difference between the teams on the day. Some people would say it should have been more, given the way Liverpool controlled proceedings and really was a class apart from Benfica for large portions of that contest. Did you see it that way?
Yeah, I would suggest so. Of course, Benfica had 1 or 2 opportunities, but I think the chances that Liverpool created, I did not, of course, execute, would suggest that the scoreline should have been a bit bigger. But I always felt that Liverpool were in the driver's seat for this one. And as expected, they were very, very comfortable. I think, obviously, the movement and the guile, the creativity, and all that comes with the front 3 that Liverpool possess, and the wide players from the wing-back positions, was just too much for Benfica. We knew that was going to happen. We knew that, of course, Liverpool would present just too much of a danger, too much for a Benfica team that I thought has been punching above their weight, and certainly tonight showed that maybe this is probably one step too far for the Benfica team.
Yeah, I want to look at the Benfica goal, Brent, because as a former top-class centre-half yourself, I want to know what gets into a centre-half's head for him to make this mistake, Brent. Talk to me.
I think it's really about awareness and balance, because as a centre-half of his ilk, he would know where in the field he was and where in the box he is, and he has to know that he cannot make that mistake, which means that it's either one or two things. Either you are very, very sure that you're going to connect with that ball, and if you're not sure you're going to connect, you allow the ball to run, but make sure you get very close to the attacker, that you close him down and he doesn't get a shot on goal.
But
it looks like he was in 2 minds.
But my question is this, Brent. Isn't it, if you're in that position as a centre-half, if we stop it right here, team, right, if the ball is coming in this way, Brent, he went with the left leg and the ball went through his legs. Aren't you supposed to be looking to clear the ball with your right leg, with your right foot? Because given where the ball is coming from, I would think that you'd want to turn it behind for a corner, or if you don't want to put it back outside for a throw, lest the man who made the cross gets back on the end of it and continues the attack. I can understand that. But I think the simple thing to do in that position, and I know it's easy sitting and talking about it now, but as a top-class defender, they're supposed to make easy what is difficult for us. Isn't it orthodox to seek to clear that cross with the right foot, given that you're running back towards goal? A bad touch with the left can take it towards your goal. A touch with the right takes it away from your goal into the space where it's going into touch for a corner. Why go with the left foot in the first instance to get yourself in a muddle, so that your touch has to be so perfect that you're thinking about the perfection of touch, the ball goes through your legs? Because what we're sure of is that the pitch is as smooth as a billiard table. There is no... It's not like a pitch in Jamaica. I'm not going to say Trinidad and Tobago, because the pitches over there are perfect. It's not like a Jamaican pitch where the ball will land and deviate. So I'm saying, Brent, tell me if I'm wrong, wouldn't it have been orthodox to sweep away with the right foot for a corner rather than try to get perfection of touch with the left and end up in the muddle that he ended up in?
I would say that you are correct. And I would say, secondly, and more importantly, You have to be 1,000% sure that you are going to connect with that ball. If you are not sure, if there's any doubt, you leave it and you turn around and you close your player down. Once that ball gets there and you miss and you're not sure you're going to connect with it, you automatically turn around to clear. What he did was try to swipe with his left foot, which is almost humanly impossible because it's a lot easier to plant with your right and just guide the ball away. In fact, you don't even need to swing. We play, of course, a small goal with the SportsMax team, and you don't need to swing in some instances. You just let the ball hit you, and he could guide off of that. And he didn't do any of that, which is remarkable.
Let's talk about the Luis Diaz goal, the third one that Liverpool scored on the night, because we talked about the timing of pass, Phil Foden to Kevin De Bruyne in the Man City game. The timing of pass and the quality of pass from Naby Keita is special. But he passed that ball from just at the top of the center circle. So he had spotted the run to his left from early. If we take it back a few notches, my team, I'd be a little bit further back. Let it go from here. Talk me from here, Brent, about the brilliance of this assist and the quality of the run.
Well, first of all, the weight of the pass has to be almost immaculate and spotless, and that's what it was. It was a top draw pass by Keita, and I think more importantly, the vision to see it. And of course, to execute it is very, very difficult. And both, when you combine both, that was just an extraordinary play. There's so much conversation about Liverpool chances of course, winning both the Champions League and the league. And a lot of it surrounds the Liverpool midfield, whether it be Thiago, whether it be Keita. Those players last season for me, George and Mariah, were not in the kind of form that they are now. And I think when you look at the Liverpool midfield in particular, yes, we are very aware of the front three, but the midfield in particular have been exceptional in the running of games so far. Yeah. And if they are to pull this off, it's going to be down to those guys.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. One more thing on the quality of the pass, Brent, because I think that if Keita plays that ball straight, then Luis Diaz will have a problem because the ball will almost be trapped between both feet, so he can't get an angle for the shot. The fact that the pass was drifting away left, it gave him a natural angle to run onto, around the goalkeeper, left-footed finish.
Yeah, and look, that's the vision, because it's not just seeing the pass, but also, George, as you rightfully said, knowing what type of pass to play. Because there are many within the sport would have seen the pass and probably would have made a straight pass, which would have made it a right-footed finish. But the pass that Keita made ensured that Luis Diaz had nothing else to do but to slot it home with his left foot, which of course takes it away from the defender, more importantly, because if it's on the right side, the defender may have had a chance to make a challenge. Yeah. Again, it's a top pass from a player that's in ribbon form.
Have you seen anything in either game to suggest that the losing team today can come back? Let's start with Atletico first.
Yeah, I think one or two tightening up in Atletico Madrid. Of course, we know that they could play the front foot, particularly with João Felix being in tremendous form. I could see it being a little bit uncomfortable for City, but I just think the quality that City has overall may be a bit too much for Atletico. But I think out of the two teams, the two ties, I think Atletico has maybe a little bit of an edge, of course, to mount a little bit of a comeback. But I still do feel City has a little bit too much in their locker for them.
All right, let's look ahead quickly to tomorrow, Brent. Chelsea, Real Madrid, Bayern and Villarreal. There are three teams in this competition who've never won the Champions League. City among them. Well, City won, Villarreal the other, and Atletico Madrid. So of the 8, 3 have never won it. The other 5 are multiple winners. Chelsea, Real Madrid, big story. Their coach won't be available because he has COVID, Carlo Ancelotti. Chelsea had their glass jaw shattered 4 times by Burnley in the league on the weekend. Who goes into this one in the better vein of form, Chelsea or Real, and what do you expect in terms of the result?
Well, if your judging memory is back to last season, a certain West Brom would have bashed Chelsea as well before they, of course, turned things around in the Champions League. So I don't see that result meaning much. And I think at the end of the day, the Chelsea-Real Madrid game is going to be very, very tight. I do feel, however, that Chelsea may just edge it. and maybe the favourites going into it. I must admit, though, Real Madrid surprised a lot of us with the performance that they put down against PSG, and so they can't count them out. And again, just like every single Chelsea and Real Madrid fixture we have covered, it's going to come down to who wins the middle of the park. And who are the ones that are the aggressor in the middle of the park. And the team that's able to do that is going to win that fixture.
Bayern needed 12 players on the weekend to win their Bundesliga game. They play a Villarreal team that knocked off Juventus but have been patchy in La Liga at best. Do you favour the Bavarians in this one on Wednesday?
Yeah, I do think so. And look, as much as we talk about who are the possibilities of winning it, and the conversation circles around Liverpool and Man City. You just feel that Bayern Munich would have a say in all of this. They've been very, very, very quiet, very humble within their build-up towards within the Champions League. And when these sorts of conversations comes up, you don't really hear them being mentioned. But you'd have to suggest, George and Mariah, that Bayern Munich is one of those teams that if they get into the semi-finals out, of course, the Villarreal fixture, they're going to be very, very tough to come up against, and they would fancy their chances of winning this edition of the Champions League.
So your double for Wednesday is Chelsea and Bayern.
Chelsea and Bayern it is, my good sir.
Excellent, sir. Well, thank you very much, and you need to send me a telescope shot of how Earth looks from the International Space Station when you have time later, all right?
Anytime, my good friend.
Excellent. Brent Sancho there speaking to us about the Champions League. So on SportsMax on Wednesday, Chelsea will battle Real Madrid. That's a live game. We have a pre-game show starting at 1:15. It will be foolhardy for you to miss the pre-game show, and no fool watches SportsMax, yeah? And then
Subscribe to SportsMax on cable and download the SportsMax app today.